talking with Joseph Michael Carr about running for to represent us in the state capitol. We all focus on these national races, but we're finding that our lives are really controlled by our local and state elected officials. Indeed, they help us. They're the ones who control the map. They're the ones who help us to send people to Washington. They're the ones who determine, you vote on the president and a state capitol from state elected electors. So that's very, very important. But this man's story is really compelling. He's a cancer survivor, number one. And he's a married father who's someone who's an advocate for fathers, an MBA, but he's also a philanthropist. Can't wait to talk with him in just a few minutes so we can find out why he is running. But we're so glad we need more people like him running. Independent Voters of Illinois. And Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, Fathers Who Care, the Austin African American Business Association, Lost Boys. There's so much that he has done and that he's doing. And he's doing this in addition to being a cancer survivor. And he's running to be your state representative here in the city of Chicago in the 20th District. And so we welcome you to the show, Joseph Michael Carr. Let me just ask you this. You're running as a progressive. Progressives stand for what?
Well, I make sure that I put people in my policy first. And, before we even get started, I haven't said good morning, Santita, but thank you for having me on your show. You're a living legend to our family. My wife told me that she saw you yesterday at Operation Push's International Women's Luncheon. So congratulations on its success. So yes, I am an independent progressive Democrat running for the 25th District State Representative.
Well, let me ask you this, because a lot of what you're pushing for, people are saying that, okay, but that really falls under the purview of the city. And you're saying, but no, I'm going to go to Springfield and argue for this. Explain to me what that back and forth is about.
Sure. So the way that I see my vision is I want to bring leadership, and I think that the 25th District, even though it sits inside of the city of Chicago, I think it's time for a new vision. Rather than looking backwards to 1970, I would think that we should be looking forward to 2050. And I want to bring equity and inclusivity to the district. We have a very diverse set of residents here in the 25th District, from 43rd Street down to 118th Street. And each part of those communities needs specialized attention. I'm a cancer survivor, so I want to make healthcare my top priority in Springfield. And healthcare can actually take many forms. It can take a physical form or a mental form, environmental, or even financial, which we'll discuss a little bit more. I want to bring these resources to the city of Chicago, District 25. And that means expanding education for business development and even our youth. Our family was devastated by healthcare costs. So I want to expand those safety net. Yeah, I want to
ask you, how has that journey for you, because you're a married man with children, you can be a millionaire. People who make $100,000 a year, 36% of them today in the United States live paycheck to paycheck. You can have a few $1 million in the bank, and I mean a few. One devastating illness can wipe all of that out, Mr. Carr. Mm-hmm. All of it. How did your cancer, your families, because no one person in a family gets ill.
Yeah.
The whole family gets sick.
Right.
How did your cancer struggle, and thank goodness you've survived and you're in excellent health. How did that impact you? How did it impact your family?
Santita, that is why I'm running for office. Basically, in 2008, I had a medical accident that occurred after the cancer. That I was in a coma for 9 days. I was paralyzed for 2.5 months, and it took me 1.5 years to learn how to walk and eat again. And you talk about being the poster child of financial hardship. Our family went through a devastating experience because I was, in the corner office at one point as an accountant. I was in the corner office, and then next thing I know, my wife is feeding our family from going to St. Philip Neri, which is right here in South Shore. We were on the breadline. We had to go to get, charity to be able to eat. And it's devastating. So many people don't understand what healthcare costs really can do to a family. There was one pill that I was taking 3 times a day, and that one pill was $920. So I can just tell you from my own experience.
Was this out of your pocket?
You know what? It was out of my pocket because what happened was I was a controller for a company, and when I got sick, I had most of my, maybe about 2 months worth of, when I was in the hospital, the company told me that they could pay for me for 2 months, but the prognosis from the doctor wasn't that I might not be able to walk for over a year. So they said, well, we can no longer keep you employed, and you're going to have to lose your health care benefits. So I lost my health care benefits. So all of this was out of pocket, and it devastated our family. Just absolutely crushed us.
So how does that Yes, no, please continue.
Yeah, I've never lost my positive outlook on life. And I think that we can do better as a community. And even from that experience, I took that experience of having cancer and having to overcome these difficult financial hardships. And I realized that if I'm experiencing this, other men are experiencing the same problems. So I started Fathers for the Future, which we teach financial literacy to Black and brown fathers. And we work with fathers that are between the ages of 16 and 30. So they're not your typical age group because a lot of them are still youth. But because of that, I have really found an interest in fatherhood and giving back to the community. We graduated over 300 different students. We worked with the Department of Youth and Family Services, the Juvenile Detention Center, all of these different organizations here on the south side of Chicago and on the west side of Chicago. And these young men, they need help. And sometimes you can help them and you feel great for being able to help them, but then you look at them and say, wow, we have one young man who was 11 years old and he was a father. And he came to us through a school from South Shore International High School. And, he was referred to us through his mom who worked at the school, 11 years old. Now, I'm 51 years old. I cannot imagine being 11 years old and being responsible for a child.
How do you, with these stories, with this compelling story that you have and your wife's story and your children's story, because all of you have experienced that, clearly that was life-changing. And when you meet this 11-year-old boy, and when you see, kids who are 16, and even people who are 30 who are trying to get on their feet, because at 30 you're still trying to get on your feet. You are. How does that shape your policy? What do you think that you can and should be taking to Springfield? What can one state representative do?
Well, first of all, you have to elect me. So, and then the real challenge is taking everyone's personal issues, and we're all broken people. As your dad said, we're all broken people, and you have to find commonality and making sure that you understand and be empathetic. That's what I really learned in that experience. I learned empathy. And because not everyone, the face that you put out in public is not the reality of what's happening behind the closed doors. So we're all broken people. And you have to say, when you go down to Springfield, that you're representing the people and the people's interests. And not only are those people your constituents, But, they're your family. That's the way I look at it. Every person that I meet on the street is my brother. Every woman that I meet is a sister. I want to take consideration into however their lives are, making sure that I represent them. And how you get anything accomplished in Springfield is through coalition building. I have a reputation for being able to work with coalitions throughout the country. I was involved with the National Convention for Hip Hop many years ago, and we had leaders from all over the world come and meet with Harry Belafonte about exactly how you should approach civil rights and human rights. So you have to have a relationship with the people that you work with, who are your colleagues. And by doing that, you have to have people that will be willing to be independent and stand up for what they know is right and what the people want. And that's what a progressive really is. They put people first in their policies, not corporations and not special interests.
We're talking with Joseph Michael Carr, South Shore businessman, cancer survivor, father, husband, a mentor to fathers. Indeed, former chair of the Independent Voters of Illinois, an independent Democrat who's running to represent in Springfield, be the state representative for the 25th district over near me. And I want to hear from you. This last minute and a half belongs to you. What do you want to say to the voters? Why should they vote for you on Tuesday?
Sure.
Well, really, through Tuesday, because we have early voting.
Through Tuesday, because we're early voting now.
Excuse me for that.
That's fine. Despite there's a real imbalance in the money within this race, it's still very close. And your vote is going to make all the difference in the world. So, yes, we have started early voting, and it goes through the primary, which is Tuesday. But you have to remember, if you need a ride and, you can contact our office, I'm going to give you the telephone number. It's 773-510-0996. That's 773-510-0996. I have been traveling all across the district and meeting the voters and the constituents, and I just want them to know that I'm there for them. I'm there for you, and if you're not familiar with who I am, visit my website at Carr for Rep. That's CARR for Rep.com. And I'm asking for your vote. Because if you want a real change, and somebody's going to put people first, you're going to have to vote for people that are not for other interests, but for your own interests. And that's why I'm running to be your representative. Santita, I want to say thank you again for having me on your show. This has truly been an honor. This race is really important to the General Assembly going forward because there are so many people that are hurting right now. We're in and out of this pandemic, and people are suffering. So, and I know this because I'm talking to all of these people. We have to do better. The 25th district deserves better. Illinois deserves better.
We deserve right. How about that?
Yeah.
My mother says, wait a minute. God can hit a straight lick with a crooked stick. She said, why don't you get a straight stick? We just get that. My mother comes up with stuff just like her husband does, but that's true.
I love your mom. I love your mom. I was at an event with her right after I had announced, and she put her hand on my hand and said, "Baby, you just keep doing what you're doing." So
and keep serving.
Jackson always. Yes, that's the truth. And you know what? Reverend Jackson.
I got 2 seconds.
Okay, over the weekend, Reverend Jackson did make me his personal choice for the 25th district.
All right, then. God bless you. God bless you, everybody. Back with more of the Santita Jackson Show in just a few minutes.